Hello and welcome to the Dad and Buried podcast. My name is Mike. I am Dad and Buried. Joining me tonight is my lovely co-host and wife, Mom and Buried. Say hello.
Hello, everyone.
So normally I might say the Dad and Buried podcast is the anti-parenting podcast because we hate parenting and we trash it, but you don't quite do that as much as I do. Or I might say
parenting.
Or I might say, you know, this is we're here to lower the bar for other parents. But that's basically just when me and Pete are here, she raises the bar for other parents. She's a much better parent than I am. You may have noticed she has not been around in a while. So we took a little bit of a summer hiatus. And Pete and I have... The whole podcast did.
Right.
And Pete and I have been back for a couple of weeks, and now Mama Buried is back. She's got some stuff she wants to talk about, but mostly we want to catch up.
Because as the Burieds. It's a little buried catch up, right?
I am not married to Pete.
From our family to yours.
I am not, a little known fact, I am not married to Pete, my other co-host. I am married to this co-host.
You lucky son of a...
Little bit... You would not, don't call my mom a bitch. A little bit of a different dynamic amongst us. And you know what? A lot has happened since you've been on the show.
Know.
And we're going to talk about
busy time.
Some of that tonight. We're going to talk about, we took a little bit of a vacation at the end of the summer.
Yes.
Our oldest son, Detective Munch, turned 11. He is now officially a tween. I don't know, are you tween at 10? Do you know?
I think some people say that. Yeah, sure. But I don't. But he was in elementary school and he has moved to middle school.
Yes, he has graduated and has now entered middle school, or a few weeks into middle school. He has gotten a little piece of technology to potentially help support him through the transition into middle school. And you and I had a bit of a I don't know. Some people might call it a wedding anniversary. We had a wedding anniversary. We had our first meeting in person anniversary, right?
I know, which people would not usually know. But again, our wedding anniversary is the day after our firstborn's birthday. Yes. So literally didn't even realize what day it was for most of the day.
No, yeah, we never really are able to recognize the official anniversary of our wedding because we're too busy prepping for or celebrating or recovering from celebrating our now 11-year-old's birthday.
And also, imagine for me, because I do most of the work for that, let's be honest.
Oh, come on. I blow up a lot of balloons.
And the week before is your birthday, and it always inevitably is like the week of school starts. So the whole thing is just
football.
A huge clusterfuck. And it's like right after Labor Day, because schools in New York start like right after Labor Day. So like the whole thing is just this huge mess where everything happens at once.
School started later than normal, so everything was even more crunched together. Football season started. You got me NFL Sunday ticket, which you regretted
biggest mistake
immediately, because now I have to watch football on Sundays or it's just a waste of money. You dug your own grave.
Yeah, that can't be all the time. That's already problematic.
Honestly, it is problematic because the Dolphins are fucking terrible.
And now you're like pissed off even more than usual every single Sunday, like nonstop.
As they continue to lose, though. So I had expectations going into the season. As they continue to lose, those expectations go down, and then it just becomes like watching a train wreck. So it's not as devastating.
And also, his fantasy football league team fucking sucks.
0-4.
And so they just lose all the time. It is a real joy around here on Sundays with Dad and Buried and his birthday gift. It's a
wonderful
treat.
Gift. Thank you so much for that gift. I got you AirPods because, as we know, the 14th wedding anniversary, the traditional gift is ivory. But I was not going to kill any elephants. Instead, I got her something white. Right?
I'm like trying to think like what else I would want that's like
ivory. You wouldn't do that because you love animals. Actually, she doesn't like animals. A little known fact.
I don't want you to kill.
She hates animals.
I like dogs.
We have not gotten a dog, despite the kids constantly whining for one, and you actually whining for one. We did not do that over the month and a half that we have been away. We traveled. We've celebrated multiple times our anniversary. For all this talk about how like. We don't celebrate it. We did. We went on a date.
Multiple
You got gifts.
For our anniversary. Okay, first of all, this ivory gift was something like I had to go on some long walk and I'm like, oh, I need AirPods as I'm like running errands. And he's like throws it at me like on his way to the shitter or something. Like it was not romantic. It wasn't wrapped. Oh, it was wrapped, I guess.
It was wrapped.
In birthday paper.
Wrapped it.
It was not magical. There was not multiple anything.
Look, I'm sorry. My priority is my kids. I love you very much, but when I'm celebrating things, really it's celebrating the light of my life, which is my 2 children, which we spent a lot of time blowing up balloons. What was the theme? Oh, like Percy Jackson, Greek gods.
Yeah, isn't my kid's this birthday? The intro? Aren't we supposed to be talking about this as we get into it? Because then we can talk about like all of this stuff. How I did like all of the birthday party. We can get into that. One
of the things we did not do over the break was kind of figure out a better structure for the show. But you know what? It's messy. It's real.
This shit?
That's
Seriously.
what we do. That's what we do.
Who's the producer?
I need one. Would you? You throwing your hat in the ring?
I have zero talent for producing.
You have so much talent for so many things. And we will be right back to discuss, among other things, her talent for organizing and throwing birthday parties for tweens. Right?
Yes. I mean, I'm really freaking great at birthday parties. That's actually true.
It is true. We'll be right back. Okay, so this week we're going to be talking about some of the stuff we've been up to over the past 6 weeks or so since Mom and Buried has been on the air with me. Among other things, our kid's birthday party, our kid transitioning into middle school, our anniversary. But before we did that...
Both of our kids, like, they've
transitioned into school. Yeah, so the Hammer went from never having been in a real school, because he did a pre-K remotely, to being in kindergarten.
Yeah.
And our other kid graduated from 5th grade. It's not real graduation. We don't have to get into it.
Very proud of him.
And is now in 6th grade, and it's middle school here. When I went to school, it was junior high, and I went to 7th, 8th, and 9th.
Yep, same.
And it's made a lot, I feel like it made more sense.
I feel like 6th graders
development-wise,
are more like
elementary schoolers.
Kids.
Yeah.
He definitely is more like a kid. He comes home and he like plays, like real play, and I'm so glad he does that.
Because that's going away soon. Yeah.
And yeah, him in middle school doesn't compute, but he's there.
It is what it is, and we've all had to adjust to it. Not all of us are having as easy a time adjusting to it as the rest of us, but you know what? We're getting through it. Also coming up this month, this is October now, and one of the traditions we have. If you've ever listened to us before, or you follow me on Instagram, by the way, quick reminder, you can find us on Apple, Spotify, anywhere you want to listen and subscribe, and you can find us both on Instagram.
Yeah.
Dad and Buried, Mom and Buried.
Also on Instagram.
And on Twitter and Facebook. And I still have a blog that I contribute to once in a while.
I'm not really on Facebook.
No? Well, Facebook went down for a while the other day.
I mean, I guess there's kind of an account there, but,
So one of the things we do every October, which is actually a tradition that she started, and now I kind of really into, is Spooktober, which means throughout the month of October, on the weekends or when we're going to have a movie night, we try to watch something spooky. So normally, because we have movie nights with our kids, and then also separately, if we watch one, we watch a kid, family-friendly, scary movie.
Right.
And then we'll watch like an adult one. The problem I have is it's hard to find family-friendly scary movies, and the ones you end up settling on are weak sauce.
They're Halloween movies. They're not. I mean, especially when you're dealing with like a 5-year-old.
Well, we showed Detective Munch Poltergeist a few years ago. He liked it. He was probably like 8 or 9, maybe 9.
The first time I think he was terrified. Yeah, sure.
No, he was fine. He's fine. He doesn't like to go near trees or cemeteries or anything anymore. Which who can really blame him? And we haven't really done anything scarier than that, and we haven't shown the Hammer, who is like a straight up sociopath who has no fear.
He'd actually probably be
he'd be into the horror movie. We watched Titanic and he roots for the iceberg. Like legitimately. He's like, I can't wait.
I know. Same with like Jurassic Park.
Mm-hmm.
1,000,000%. Team
roots
dinosaurs.
For the dinosaurs, yeah.
Whole time.
So not only do we have to find some kind of family night Spooktober thing, which can be difficult. The other thing is you don't actually like really scary movies. You like to do Spooktober. And I want to watch something like legitimately scary, like The Witch or Hereditary.
No. You'll watch
The Shining.
Terrifying. Yeah. I like classic. Yes, I love The Shining.
And you like I Know What You Did Last Summer.
Fine. Oh my God. Welcome. Okay, so like Scream and I Know What You Did Last Summer.
I like Scream.
That's like classic.
No, I Know What You Did Last Summer is not classic. It's campy.
Nostalgia.
It's bad. It's bad actors acting badly in a badly written movie. It's really stupid.
It's wonderful.
You love it.
It's so fun.
It's fun. That's your main prerequisite for any movie we choose. Which is why, and I dread this every year, and I just put up a meme about it. Fucking Hocus Pocus. We always have to end up watching Hocus Pocus. Hocus Pocus is garbage. Nobody likes Hocus Pocus. The only reason people like Hocus Pocus is because they saw it when they were 8 years old or 10 years old. They didn't realize how movies worked or what good acting looks like or what a good script looks like or what good filmmaking looks like. It is such amateur hour. It is not funny. It is terrible. I can't stand it. There's nothing redeemable about it.
I have a couple things to say about this.
Oh my God.
So I didn't see it until I'm an adult. I'm not saying it's an amazing movie, but the kids love it so much. Like Munch really loves it. And he wants to like save it till the end of October. Bad. And don't even listen to Danbury being like, oh my God, and I'm subjected to it. He 110% disappears every time Hocus Pocus is on. He has never sat through Hocus Pocus.
I have sat through it.
A year of his life.
I have seen it.
You have not.
We have been to Salem, where it takes place. I don't know if it was actually filmed there, or I think it probably was.
Yes, a lot of it
was.
We
went to Halloween in Salem once, where we almost won, or we won. We won something. I won some golf balls that I immediately never used because I don't play golf.
We dressed up as Pretty Woman and Richard Gere, and I wore the hooker outfit. I'm telling you,
from the beginning of the movie,
one of the best costumes I've ever made, guys. I'm telling you, it was fucking good.
It was good. You're good at costumes. And we have I dressed I had a gray suit, and I spray painted my hair gray to look like Richard Gere. But as I always say, I was a bit chubby at the time, so I looked a little bit more like Bill Clinton. Whatever. We won an award. I think I had a bouquet of roses or something. Isn't that something that happened at the end of the movie? Pretty Woman.
Something like that happened.
I beat the shit out of Jason Alexander. It was great.
No.
We have a great one. She's great at couples costumes and family costumes. We have a great one this year. I think it's actually my idea. I think we're going to crush it.
I don't know. It's a little tricky. It's a little tricky for me. I have one
Suits me really well. But what were you going to say?
Everything you said about Hocus Pocus
is true.
So I have a poll going up right
on
now.
Instagram.
And I think right now it's like 65% people loving it. And, you actually tweeted something. You tweeted that.
I tweeted the truth.
But you made a joke and saying like, oh my God, I'm going to run away because a lot of people are going to be like upset about it.
Not even people, just women, moms who love it. And I know because I've posted about it in the past and they go nuts and they get mad at me and they say, when you trash pet moms or when you trash parenting, when you trash your kids, I'm fine with that. But when you trash Hocus Pocus, that's a fight. I'm unfollowing you and all this shit.
And I'm sorry, just to summarize one more, because I don't want to get it wrong.
Don't want to get what wrong?
Again, will you say the sentiment you said?
Hocus Pocus is trash, and the only reason you like it is because you first saw it when you were a kid and didn't know any better, and now you refuse to let go of your blind nostalgia. 100% truth.
So I've had a lot of comments in my DMs about this, and one
agreeing with me, I'm sure.
one. Yes, one recurring one, 1,000,000% that I've gotten and I've seen a lot of is like absolutely 100%. Same with Star Wars.
Fine.
Lots of people saying that too. Like it's absolutely trash and it's nostalgia.
Star Wars was a legitimate blockbuster that reshaped the movie industry for the next 50 years. Hocus Pocus is fucking Family Channel basic cable bullshit. There's no comparison. You can say Star Wars is overrated and the main reason I like it is because I loved it as a kid. Sure, true. But Star Wars and like Empire Strikes Back are just irrefutably better made films.
No,
they revolutionize special effects.
I think the point being is like when you watch them now, they're really not that well made.
A lot of people trash the Goonies. They are.
Oh no, I've heard that. And you know what? You guys can fuck all the way off and just get off my channel entirely. I don't have anything to say to you people. You people are dead wrong.
She doesn't mean that.
You are wrong.
I think they are wrong about Goonies.
Goonies is a good film.
Look,
listen.
Here's my thing. I agree with you, and I think we do probably value Goonies a little bit more than we should because we loved it when we were kids. But again, Goonies is like a legitimate A-list Hollywood production. Hocus Pocus is a B movie. It is not even meant to be that good, and people are acting like whatever. If you like it, if you can admit, they're terrible actors. If you can admit that the reason you like Hocus Pocus is because of nostalgia, or you know it's not that good, but you enjoy it and it's cheesy fun, fine, great. I agree with you. That's fine. I'm not going to take the movie away from you, but I mean, I would if I could, but you have to admit it. You can't be going around being like, this is good. You have to be like, I'm an adult. I can tell this is actually not a very good film, even though I really enjoy it or whatever. Like me and Karate Kid 3.
I would not put Hocus Pocus in the category of either of those. And I didn't grow up. I didn't see it as a kid. I didn't even see it. I feel like I was a little too old when it even came out.
Yeah, you were like, what is this trash? Why would I watch this? And then you had kids.
I have no idea what year it even came out. But anyway, yes.
We've got a lot of scary movies, like you said. Rosemary's Baby is one of my favorite movies of all time. We'll watch that. We'll watch The Shining, and she'll probably make me throw in I Know What You Did Last Summer, and then the sequel where Jack Black speaks with a Jamaican accent for some reason.
No, and I do like scary movies. It's just that I'm bad at them because they really, really scare me. They give me nightmares.
We're watching Midnight Mass. We've only seen 2 episodes, and you're like freaking out in anticipation of something happening. So slow burn. Nothing has happened yet. So this is gonna be an amazing segue. Segueing from fictional scary things. I don't think there's any segue. We're gonna talk a little bit. So Pete and I have started adding. You may have noticed. So we've now added like a pop culture corner section to the podcast where we talk about what movies we are showing our kids, which is why I just shit all over Hocus Pocus because it fits. The structure of the show demands it. But another little segment we're talking about, and that Pete really likes to do, is parents in the news. And one of the main parenting stories in the news lately...
It's not a parenting story. I mean, really...
There's an angle. This is dark, and I'm not trying to be glib about it.
And this is a very serious story.
It's the Bryan Laundrie disappearance after he allegedly, killed his girlfriend while they were on the cross-country trip or whatever. That
absolutely tragic story about Gabby Petit's disappearance, and then obviously what's turned out to be a homicide, and we
don't know who did it. Most people assume Bryan Laundrie did it, and he is in the wind. So the way I wanted to tie this back into kind of a parenting thing is, it seems pretty clear that if he did it or not, his parents have kind of aided and abetted in his disappearance and his escape.
And no one knows that. And I don't know how much people are even following along right now. But nutshell is the parents were not cooperating. It's turned out that actually today, I just saw a headline today, that not only did he come back and they went on a camping trip, in between the time when there was a video that came out of them being pulled over, Gabby and Bryan Laundrie, and there was an altercation and everything, and the police let them go. In between that time and ultimately the last time that they were seen together and him coming home and her ultimate disappearance, he flew home and then went back there and then drove back with the van and was home on September 1st, ultimately when she's totally gone.
So it's almost like...
he flew home.
And his parents were like, you need to go get the van. Right?
I don't know.
What conversation were they having? So...
Well, she was alive during that period because she was seen. It doesn't matter. But and then they come back, they go camping, and then he buys a burner phone. That's been revealed. And the parents know about this. They know about the phone. They've told the police about the phone. And then he goes camping by himself after he's back, and then takes like 5 days for the parents to
admit it.
Tell the police that, we haven't seen him in like 5 days, even though you've been asking, like, we want to talk to him and knocking on the door. So anyway,
what I want to talk, I don't want to speculate about what happened to her or their relationship or whether he even did it or whatever, right? But what I want to talk about is
tragic, obviously.
Like the lengths parents will go to like protect their kids or like
if the family is involved.
Maybe the family knows, maybe they don't, right? Maybe Bryan has told them he didn't have anything to do with it and they believe him, but they're clearly, it seems like they don't want to cooperate with the police or letting him go. Like there's always these stories about like parents would do anything for their kids, and usually that's like a positive thing, like they'll help their kids overcome any obstacle or whatever. Would you, if you knew or you suspected or the world suspected that one of your kids committed some kind of heinous crime, would you help them escape justice or avoid the police or whatever? Or would you be like, sorry, like, I still love you, but you need to reckon with what you did, and what you did was awful, and turn them in?
I mean, I think that's an absolutely horrible... First of all, you're putting me really on the spot. No, but I mean, I think that there are so many unknowns to this, but I mean, ultimately, like, there's a girl who's dead and another family who is grieving. You know what I mean? Like, how do you not
have empathy for them?
And empathy for them to get answers and...
it's a very strange situation. Obviously, we don't know any of the facts or any of the details or what really happened or anything like that. But like, it's hard for me as a parent to watch that and to not wonder, like, if my kid were accused of something, would I like help him escape and get away? Whatever. And we don't know if they believe him or what he told them or if he did it or anything like that. But it's just like a curious. Like, I don't know. I wouldn't want my kid to have done something like that, but I also wouldn't want his like life to be destroyed or whatever. But at this point, he's just like, I don't know. He's totally disappeared. So what life?
His life's pretty
shot.
Destroyed. Yeah, no, that's an insane thing. I mean, it'll be interesting to see what unfolds and if answers are even, if there are any answers, because, I mean, it keeps going on, and who knows if the person's even dead alive.
Yeah, it could be years until we know. But I'm sure there'll be some kind of true crime podcast about it that you can listen to after you're done listening to our 500th episode, because we're still going to be going strong by then.
Do you know, even though this case has intrigued me, there's something that I do not share with a lot of that mom culture out there. Which,
the true crime stuff,
I don't watch true crime shows, guys.
You're not you're like, I love serial killers, but you're not like necessarily going to watch I won't watch any like second or third rate documentary about it. Like, even though I love serial killers, like they're my favorites, but I watch like a good, a well-produced one. Like you've watched some of like the big ones, but you won't watch anything. Like there's a lot of women who will watch like any of those true crime things on Netflix or listen to the podcast.
And I don't even listen to podcasts at all.
You just listen to ours.
Podcast. Oh, sorry.
That's right. She does. That's true. She doesn't. But I like some of that true crime stuff. But again, who's got time for all that? You know, we're recording podcasts. We're writing memes, shitting on Hocus Pocus. We're raising our kids. We're throwing birthday parties, which is what we want to get into next, right? So if there were ever a reason for me to like abandon my family and not care about them, it would be if we have to throw another birthday party. And I'm hoping now that my son is 11.
You have another son.
He had oh shit. Well, I forgot. So the 11-year-old had another themed birthday party, potentially his last like themed birthday party where the other kids came, and there what was it? It was mythology and Percy Jackson, because my son loves.
And so here's the thing, guys.
Which I'm behind that. I love mythology.
He's been 1,000,000% into these sort of big themed, one might say Pinterest worthy.
Yeah, well, your stuff is Pinterest worthy, even though you're not a Pinterest person.
I'm not a Pinterest mom or whatever. When it comes to birthday parties, though, we have gone to the point where we have gone all out, and it's become a thing with him, and he absolutely loves it.
We have really gone all out. We've done a lot.
And it's been so fun, and so every year he's looked forward to it. And when the world shut down for COVID in like March of 2020, right? Was that when it was?
Yeah.
Jesus. One of the first things Detective Munch said was, I'm so glad it happened now and not September so I can still have my birthday party. Mm-hmm. That's what he said a year and a half ago.
Yeah, a year and a half ago. 6 months before his birthday party would have even been.
Right. And of course, COVID was still happening. So last year he didn't really do a birthday party at all.
2 friends over for like,
we had a couple friends out back.
We watched a movie outside.
And we watched a movie. Like that's what we did. Outdoor movie night. So this year he was like very much, things were a little bit better. And we still did it outdoors, and
we were very
small,
safe. Masked.
Yeah, a lot different. Not the huge, like, oh my God, when he was little, remember we would have like 25 kids and their parents and everything. Like, this was the first time we did it as a drop-off party, because usually parents are here and now parents
Which
are
is great if you're the parent dropping off your kid. It's not so great if you're the parent responsible for 10 other kids, other parents' kids, suddenly in your backyard.
Usually it's like a big thing where the parents really love it, because they're like, someone else is like entertaining my kid, and
for a couple hours.
They just like, we always have alcohol and stuff, but this year we did it also to minimize the amount of people, like, anyway, drop off. But he was so excited to do like a themed one again, and I think it was kind of like this thing that like the pandemic took away from him, so he wanted to do it.
And we did it wasn't as elaborate of a party, but we did a lot. You bought a balloon inflator, because in the past I've had to blow up like 30 balloons like the night before the party. We had to, what else did we do? You got a whole bunch of like a balloon thing to set up like an arch.
Yeah, I decided I wanted to do like a balloon arch, just because why not?
And we created a scavenger hunt that I had to create clues for, which maybe not my best
mythology
work. Yeah, very mythologically
so there
focused.
Was that. There was also there was like a quest, because it was Percy Jackson themed, and they also had like challenges. Mm-hmm. God, this month is so long. I'm like even trying to remember back to that.
2 weeks / 3 years ago.
He dressed up like some sort of, I don't know, Roman warrior. It was a little all over the place.
And the hammer was Poseidon, right? Oh, yeah, he has a little trident.
It was so cute. He had a trident. He was very excited. Yeah. No one was injured in the making of this
birthday
party.
There was mythologically themed foods. You made ambrosia?
I made ambrosia, like kind of, yeah.
I did not have any of that.
A lot of the kids liked it. It was good times. So yes, it was very fun. It was a huge success. The kids loved it. Detective Munch loved it, most importantly. And yeah, who knows next year if he'll want such a thing.
Most importantly, it's over. And we finished cleaning up.
But do you know what is crazy? So the Hammer, whose birthday is in January. And because when he kind of got into the like, I think like 5th birthday is when like we started really
letting him
taking
like,
it up a notch. Or actually the first big birthday party, no, it's not even true. Detective Munch has had a big birthday party every single year of his life. No, his first birthday was like
the
circus themed. It was like a big thing. That was for me.
God, I was so drunk.
Were you?
No.
I don't know.
But that first birthday
cute.
Party is like you're celebrating the fact that you survived the first year, right?
That was really cute.
Kid doesn't even know what's happening. Maybe he has cake for the first time.
The 4th one, it became more like it was like superhero themed. And anyway,
well, he got to decide what it was themed, right? Rather than kind of us choosing something we think he likes.
And it became like, like on the 5th one, I remember there was like it was pirate themed. There was a treasure map, and like that one was kindergarten. So I'm just saying, like, it was around then that it got a little bit more involved.
But you shot yourself in the foot, because once you make one big themed party with like a scavenger hunt and all these things, then he starts to expect it. And now there's been like 6 of them, and now the little one is going to start expecting it too.
No. But that's the thing. Like, I think now, yes, the Hammer was wanting it for last year, right?
Yeah.
But
it's winter.
You
can't be
during
outside
a pandemic,
during COVID,
or you can be inside. He was remote, so he didn't even have school classmates. So like now he's like got an eye on it.
We got to start planning it right now, I think, for January.
But still, still a pandemic. Who knows what January will look like? Hopefully things are safer and kids will be vaccinated and all of that good stuff. But yes, it's not going to end, what I'm telling you, Dad.
I know. Well, it's not going to end.
He's getting into the prime birthday years.
It's not going to end for the 5-year-old who's going to be 6 in January, but it may be the end of like the big themed one for our 11-year-old who will be 12 next year and going into 7th grade now that he's in middle school. And like we said, like
doesn't it just when I was growing up, off at the mall at that
right.
point?
But when I was growing up, it was like K through 6, and then 7th and 8th. Like it just felt like a more natural break in terms of like where they are physically and development wise and mentally and all that stuff. Like even just seeing the 7th graders when I pick them up or drop them off from school, they seem older than he is at 6th grade. So like the middle school transition has been a little bit tricky. And one of the things we did for his birthday party and for middle school was we got him a phone. Not actually a phone. What is it?
A communications phone.
My Gab, G-A-B-B. It's called the Gab device.
Gab wireless, I guess. And
there's no internet.
It's like a phone that we had. It's not a smartphone.
Yeah, it's like a flip phone. Like you can text on it.
It's not a flip phone, but yes.
Well, it's not a flip phone, but like it was before we had iPhones and smartphones,
right.
like
it has
you said.
Pictures
you can text
and music and texts and stuff like that, but it doesn't have the internet.
So
it doesn't have Instagram. So
no social media.
Thank God, you can't see us. No.
So we walk to school, and the idea is that he'll be walking to school by himself, and when he does that, he'll have a phone. But even like already, like he loves the phone. Like even if he can't really do much on it, being able to connect with friends on his own without like parents having to make play dates and stuff.
He loves it, but he's literally left it for like a day or so. And then he told me yesterday.
He lost it in the couch cushions. I had to find it.
Right, because, that kind of stuff, I don't think the kids are doing it so much. And maybe there are kids who are. But, because I told you yesterday, like, he was kind of picked on in school because, like, he didn't have, like, an
real
iPhone.
Phone, yeah.
He's like, you're, like the other kids, like.
Your parents are strict.
Your parents are so overprotective. I'm like.
So what? I'll take that.
I don't give a shit.
So blame us. That's the one thing we should tell him, and I saw this, somebody else said that, like, I don't care if my son, like, blames me for not being able to do shit or, like, for getting out of doing stuff or whatever. That's good. That's what I'm here for.
Do you
Blame
know
me.
what, though?
Make me the boogeyman.
He was offended. He was really offended, but, like, on our parts.
Right. He was like, how dare you? My parents are the best.
He was like, my parents aren't overprotective. They let me do lots of things. Like, he was actually, like, he was not.
Slow your roll, buddy.
He was like, get off my.
You don't know my life.
Yeah.
Right?
Right. He's like, you're pretty cool.
Good for him.
He has, like, a Kindle and stuff. He's got way too much freaking shit, right?
Yeah.
He has a Kindle.
Way too much shit.
Easily, he's not on social media, but, like.
Yet. And I stress yet, because as he enters, I guess he's officially a tween now, but, like, 7th, 8th grade, like, that's when that stuff starts, right? I'm assuming. We're going to do an episode about, we did one about social media like a year ago, Pete and I, but that was before, like, he is a high schooler now, right? So that was kind of before it was a real thing. But it's going to be pretty real soon.
In middle school, it was on social media.
Yeah, it was on like Instagram, or maybe TikTok. Was that what it was? Because she was a dancer, so they do a lot of dancing stuff. If you go on my TikTok, you won't see any dancing. I promise. Don't worry about it. But like the tween thing is like a real thing. Like you can just sense like he's getting his own little group, and they're all in that same in between being little kids and being teens. In 6th grade, I think he's still a little bit more like a kid, which is one of the things that you treasure and cherish because once he's 7th, 8th grade, it's going to be a different world. We're not there yet.
Yeah, not quite yet. I mean, I think it's really cool talking to him and having real conversations, but he's not there yet either. I'm still hearing about Minecraft and freaking Roblox and just like, dude, come on.
Oh my God, last night at dinner, so we're trying to do this thing because we're trying to teach our kids to like have gratitude and appreciate life and the things that they have and have some perspective and stuff. So one of the things you've instilled is like, what are the 3 things everybody is like grateful for that they did today? And we asked Detective Munch last night, and he literally was like a 12-minute monologue about some fucking Roblox game they played. And he's explaining stuff. I don't know what any of it means. It's the most boring story I've ever heard. It would be like me telling you, like if Christian McCaffrey hadn't gotten hurt,
like
or I could make a trade. Like if I trade McCaffrey and I package him with Mike Davis, maybe I can get Tyler Lockett. Like nobody cares about my fantasy team. It's like when you tell me about a dream you had the night before. I don't want to hear about my kid's Minecraft adventures or his Roblox adventures. I'm glad you're having fun. I hope there's nothing too sketchy going on, but it's the most boring thing I've ever heard. And I said, I made the rule.
I said the other day, like, because we usually have rules about, like, what Roblox games we can play. But he was, like, with his friends, like, they had, like, sort of our friends for our anniversary, took our kids for the evening. And we went to dinner.
Like a spider game?
Like, he wanted to play a particular game that was perhaps
within
maybe
Roblox.
Not one that we would normally be all into, right?
Right.
And so I said, trust your instincts. And then he's telling me a story about
what the game entails.
What the game entails. And then I'm like, okay, forget it.
Bad instincts. We are not down with those instincts. Stop trusting them.
Yeah. It makes it sound so horrible. It was like military tycoon or something?
No, that was what he was playing yesterday, but the one he wanted to play that night was some like spider game, which I think is like killer spiders or some kind of horror.
That actually scares him. That one's
But it doesn't scare his little brother, who inevitably wants to play with him, and then nothing scares that kid, and that's the scariest thing. Oh, it did?
It did actually scare him. That's what gets him. Killer spiders. Now we know.
He's scared. He loves snakes. He loves sharks. He loves dinosaurs. He is not interested in spiders. But I said during the gratitude thing, I had to stop him. I'm like, video game stuff does not count as one of your gratitudes, right? Yeah. We need to hear some real stuff, because I'm sure a lot of parents deal with this. Like, our kids don't stop and think about the stuff they have. They only think in the moment, like they want something, and if they don't get it, they get all upset. And I have to constantly be like, you get so much shit. You get so much more shit than I had when I was a kid, and certainly more than you had, right?
Oh, God, yes.
So much more.
I had nothing. We were very poor. We were really quite poor. Just say.
I was less poor, but I still got nowhere near like the video games and all that, especially over the year and a half of the pandemic, where the only way for them to interact with their friends, or the only things they could do when playgrounds were closed and all that stuff, you can't go to the movies, was play video games. And sometimes it's really frustrating to have to remind our kids that, like, you have a ton. You get a ton. And that's where this 3 gratitudes thing has come in. Mama Bear is really trying to instill the positive values. I yell most of the time. That's what I do. Not as effective. But if they keep talking about these video game things, there's going to be a lot more yelling.
No, and I think that usually they're pretty good with coming up with something. But, and then they'll whine and complain later. It doesn't matter.
Then they ask for dessert, and we say, no, you don't get dessert tonight, and they fucking lose their minds. I didn't get dessert every night growing up, did you?
No, again, we were very poor.
You would, like, share a bean? Like,
we would get,
like on a Looney Tunes?
I remember getting snacks more. I think maybe we ate earlier, so we'd be hungry. So, like, maybe we'd get a snack when we were watching TV or something. But, like, I don't know. I don't remember what it was. It wasn't that. But yes, they usually get some kind of dessert. Now, granted, maybe it's like 2 Oreos or even like sometimes like frozen mango. like they get really excited.
So
the hammer,
the hammer likes to have his Oreo. He likes to split it, like John Malkovich, Teddy KGB in Rounders when he like splits it, and he can't do it quite right himself, so he gives them to me, and I twist it and I'll give it to him, and if it's smooth, he'll be like perfect.
Yeah,
he really appreciates it. The one thing, like they both much prefer their mom, but I can twist the Oreo.
I don't know, Munch might be almost 50-50, honest. He's liking you a lot these days as he gets older.
Isn't that nice?
Might be close to 50-50.
So one of the things that we plan to talk about at some point in the future, but we definitely want to get some user feedback on it before we do, is so not only did we have, as we mentioned, Detective Munch transition from 5th grade into middle school, into 6th, 7th, 8th middle school. The Hammer has transitioned from pre-K to kindergarten. And because pre-K was all remote last year, this is the first year where every day he goes to school and he's there for most of the day. And suddenly, like, I'm glad because I'm still working from home. So I have like peace and quiet, and I'm able to like have meetings without kids running around and do all that stuff. But you miss having him around and stuff, right? So we wanted to talk a little bit. We want to ask I'm going to put a couple of polls up about if other moms and dads who are used to having the kids around all the time are struggling with kids going back to school, especially if, I've been joking a little bit about calling it empty nest syndrome because they're not out of the house completely.
I think it's two different things. Having the kids back at school, if you have been remote a year and a half, I think almost everyone is excited about that. But there is a very different thing, which is apparently a thing. Someone said it to me this summer where it's like, oh my gosh, the Hammer goes to kindergarten this year. You'll be an empty nester.
Oh, and someone said it to you.
It was like a freaking knife in the heart when they said that. Like, holy crap, I was not ready. You can hear me like getting like a little verklempt just saying it now.
Coffee
and then
talk.
I honestly like was reading about it and stuff, and just how like a lot of moms go through that, especially when it's your last one.
Right.
And then it really is a little empty nest. And I think after the last, I think especially it's so much more when they've been around.
Yeah.
And it's been so intense. And you're used to having this kid like around most of the time. Like he had gone to like preschool, like half days,
daycare things.
But that, if you think about it, like because of this freaking pandemic, the last time that happened was like kind of years ago.
So
like
it's
half
sort of
of
like
his lifetime.
It's like
ago.
Normally there's the progression, like daycare, pre-K, I guess pre-K is preschool, pre-K, then kindergarten or whatever. But now because of the pandemic, like that transition was ripped away, and all of a sudden it just went from 0 to 60, sort of, right? Where he's home all the time and now totally gone, which has, obviously has a lot of implications for like our day-to-day and all that stuff. But also, Mama Buried is realizing that like best laid plans. Like at one point we were like, oh, maybe we don't want to have more than 2 kids or whatever. And now suddenly you realize, oh, wait, here's reality without kids quite so young, and I miss that. Do we potentially want to have another kid? Are other people going through this kind of thing? So I'm going to put a couple of polls up. We'll get some user feedback and maybe have a discussion about this at some point over the next couple of weeks. One of the next times you're on.
What other people have felt when they have gone through it. Because I think it is just more than just like, oh, I missed the kid. Mm-hmm. I think it's a reevaluation and just this realization that a chapter has closed. I think that's a thing.
I think it's a thing too, and we're going to talk about it in a few weeks. You okay? If Mama Barry can get through an episode, we will see. It's
very raw, but no, raw. I have read a lot. It's only been 3 weeks. A lot of parents.
This is our 4th week of them being back in school.
No, it's
not even
that for us. Not even that for us. It's only been a couple weeks.
Maybe this is the 3rd week.
So, I think too. I think it affects a lot of people just in a lot of ways. And so we want to hear how it affected you, and like also just like how you adapted to it and how you guys changed. And
and what did your day-to-day routine become if like because for a year and a half, you lost your job partially because of like, weren't able to go back to work partially because of the pandemic, and the kids were around, so that was fine. And now it's like, okay, now how do I fill my day? We got a lot of cleaning to do.
Oh my God. Who wants to do that?
But one of the funny things I wanted to mention before we close out is, so when Detective Munch was going to preschool and daycare and stuff, it was like every day we dropped him off, it was like tears, and we had to like coax him in or whatever. we
for like years.
For years, for a few years, the separation anxiety. Yeah,
he really had a hard time adjusting going to school.
The hammer does not hammer. Like I dropped the hammer off, and he's like running in. I'm like, I love you. Like, I have to yell at him. Bye.
He does not give
He doesn't care
like,
about
he got really
anything.
mad at me the other day because he was like, I'm gonna miss calendar time because I was like taking too long to like get out the door. He's not the one crying, clearly. No. I'm the problem.
Yeah, it's funny because the last couple of days, like when I've dropped him off, there's like some little girl who's like shrieking and screaming. I'm like, oh, I recognize that from when Detective Munch was a kid. Meanwhile, the hammer is just like walks right in. I don't even need to bring him. He can start walking on his own. We'll get him a gab phone.
Maybe he could walk Detective Munch and just drop him off.
Drop him off and then grab a cab and head back up to his school because they're in different schools because they're such a huge age gap, which we've talked about in the past. Right, honey?
Yes.
All right, so that's basically what we've been up to for the past 6 weeks. We're glad Mama Barry could join us and give us a quick recap on all of that. She'll be back more often. We're going to keep this consistent, hopefully at least with Pete and I, and get Mom and Buried in here from time to time, including that emotional episode we're going to have in a few weeks. I'll get some questions up and some polls up on my Instagram.
I know, I can't wait to hear all the people who are like, hell no, get these kids out of here. Because I know that's another thing. And I think that's cool. I definitely have the friends who like could not wait to have all the kids in school.
Get their kids out of school.
And one in particular, who was like, you know, the year the pandemic happened, like they couldn't wait for like last year, like all their kids were going to be in school, and then boom, remote learning, and they're just all home.
They got screwed. Like,
This is bullshit.
They were just waiting for that day, and then they got
and
nagged.
then, you know,
it didn't work out for them.
Everyone got screwed on that one, but you know.
So it's gonna be a good episode when we do that. You know, if you follow us on Instagram, we'll be sure to tease when that's coming. We'll ask some questions to get some feedback from you guys, as we've done a lot in the past. Until then, before that happens, you want to subscribe on Apple, Spotify, wherever you get your podcast. Follow us on Instagram, Twitter. You know, message me angrily about my Hocus Pocus takes, which are 100% facts. And we will catch you in next week. Pete and I will be talking about something. I don't know. He usually likes to talk about something random. We'll figure that out. And then in the future, Mom and Barry will be back. And
yeah. Thanks for hanging out with us.
Catch you on the flip-flop. I don't know why you would still be watching This Isn't a Marvel Movie, no matter how much I look like Paul Rudd, which you can deny it all you want. It's there in the eyes, I think. I'm young looking like him. If you enjoyed the podcast, which you obviously did or you wouldn't be listening still, sign up on iTunes, Spotify, wherever you want to listen to. Comment here on YouTube. Subscribe. Hit that like button. We want to hear from you. Comments, questions, dirty jokes, money. All the money you can give us. We'd love it all. Catch you next time.